a lot of full circle moments.
Yeah.
This past year.
Yes. Very much discovering just how many talented people are down here and how receptive they are to something like this.
Yeah.
Just a lot of like, it feels like the universe is conspiring in our favor.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey, storytellers, we're your hosts, Ali and Kristy. We're here to tell you sometimes the journey sucks, but doesn't that make for the best stories?
Well, welcome to the finale episode of the Emerald Coast Storytellers podcast. Ali, how are you feeling?
I feel like that one Paul Rudd meme where he's like opening, it's like when he's on the hot ones. It's that show where they eat
the
chicken wings with hot sauce, and it's Paul Rudd and he's opening up a can of milk or something, or a can of water or something like that.
A can of milk.
Well, they do serve milk on
milk.
it, but I can't remember because it's like that cuts the hot sauce, the milk. But I'm acting like I've eaten hot sauce on a chicken wing when I haven't.
Or chicken.
But I'm acting very familiar with this, and I'm not. But anyway, the meme is Paul Rudd being like, "Oh, I've never thought I'd see you here," and he's like opening up this can or whatever, and that's exactly how I feel right now.
Like, didn't think we'd be here.
Yeah, exactly.
Milk or chicken.
Yes,
from the vegetarian.
or water, or
well, today wine. We've come a long way since our first episode. I was newly pregnant. Now I have a baby that is probably going to start cooing / maybe screaming behind us. We'll find out if she makes a cameo.
She will not be paid for her cameo.
No. She's got to earn her dues.
Yes.
Future
She's
intern.
still unpaid. Yeah.
Eventually be on the payroll.
It's so funny because we were going to do a bit, and we'll still do a bit. We'll do it at the end. So stay tuned, everybody. But the bit was about, something that we were going to do prior to Kristy getting pregnant. And it was going to be like each episode we were going to like tease, this idea of like, is she pregnant? Is she not? And it would be in this bit. But I mean, it'll make a lot more sense when you hear it. Stay tuned to the end. And now it's just so funny because we never actually got to do the bit. This is the first time.
What's in your cup? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, the what's in your cup. Yeah.
I had that like rose lemonade. I remember the first episode. Now we're actually drinking some Shard.
Yeah, and way better. Let me tell you.
Afternoon delight.
I love a mocktail, but I do love a cocktail more.
Oh. We got a live one.
So does Svea.
Allegedly.
Yes.
Yeah. I know. So speaking of Svea, so that is baby girl. She's real. She's alive.
Speaking of the baby.
Speaking of the baby behind me. Stage left. She's here. She graced us Earthside June 24th. And actually our 1 year anniversary for Storytellers on July 20th was the first time I left her. She's almost 4 weeks, but that was the first time I left her. And it's true what they say. I kept calling them my Harry Potter boobs, like, the scar, like, oh, Voldemort's near. It was
dark
like
mark.
I was like my boobs would hurt, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, is Svea home crying? Does she need me?
You're like, there's a baby in here somewhere. I can feel it.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Because people were saying like, even if I think about her, I'll start leaking.
So wild, and that is like such an evolutionary thing.
So insane.
Like, you think you are removed from your lizard brain from when we first crawled out of the mud or wherever. I don't know. It's been a while since I read a book, but God, and then something like that happens and you're like, we are not far removed.
It's so like,
we're right there.
Seriously, like being pregnant and having a baby is the most mind-blowing thing. Going from this human incubator, like alien style, to like, oh shit, I made you. And like,
so weird to think about.
And it's been mind blowing. Like everything from breastfeeding. I'm like talking about boobs a lot this episode.
Okay, just get ready.
Parental discretion
hot.
is advised.
Yes.
But like every time the nurses were saying like if she scratches her face, because she came out with these like fingernails. And I was like, what the heck?
You were like, that was inside me?
Yeah.
A weapon.
Insane.
Just
and
like she was like, well, you know, if it's too far past my due date, she's like, I will figure out a
she'll
way out.
claw her way. Yeah.
Talk about alien,
thankfully
dude.
Not. Thankfully not. But yeah, like if she
that is
scratches.
trigger warning.
Yeah, seriously. If she scratches her face, the nurse is like, oh, just put some breast milk on it. It'll heal up within the day. Like,
Does that work for
and it
adults?
yeah. My friend was saying she
gosh.
puts it on her face every morning.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
There's the market. That's
It's-
going on the shop page any day now.
Oh yeah,
Just
one
quarts.
day.
Yeah.
One day. Yeah, that's new merchandise.
Yes.
Emerald Coast Storytellers. Canned breast milk with your chicken wings.
Yes. There's the Paul Rudd meme.
Yeah. But
Never thought I'd be
yes.
here drinking Kristy's breast milk.
Or chicken wings.
Yes. Yeah, that too.
Gosh. But yeah, I thought it'd be very fitting. With our first episode, we started with Rosebud Thorn. So I say we bring that back and kind of look back because we celebrated like we were saying one whole year of storytellers that went by freaking in a blink of an eye. But I say we Rosebud Thorn our first year.
Bringing
What
it
do you
back.
think? You want to start us off?
It's my
Al?
favorite thing. I guess, okay, Rosebud Thorn. So for everybody that knows or maybe doesn't know, Rosebud Thorn, rose is something good that's happening, bud is something that's growing.
Mm-hmm.
What if I was like, I'm pregnant? Just kidding.
Surprise, season 2.
That, my friends, is a joke.
She's pregnant with another cat.
Christy would be like, who is the father?
You are
Wow.
not the father.
Yes. There's just, it's
Oh
going to be
my
a Mamma
gosh.
Mia situation. I'm going to bring in 3 men. And
Oh,
just
favorite
you can
movie.
do it, sing and dance. I can't mispronounce words. Song and dance number.
And dance. And then we
I know.
dance.
I was British briefly. Okay. I'm so okay. I've derailed the conversation.
She's already crying.
It's-
We're like over under. Allie starts crying. Talking
Listen.
about 1 year.
We started this adventure with us sobbing in the dining room or living room of your old house.
Well, you were sobbing. I think I had like a really like one glistening tear.
You were like, is this how it's going to be?
I was like, it's fine.
You were
Here,
like,
drink more wine.
Yes. You're like, yeah, it's either like more wine will benefit the situation or like less wine.
Mm-hmm.
It's like in the moment, it's like, do you give me the wine bottle or do you take it away? Like, we don't know.
I think we're getting some coos from baby girl.
Mm. There's a guest appearance.
Eyes
Oh,
are
no.
closed.
Still
Eyes are
sleeping.
closed. So
She's like, I heard you were talking about
Eyes.
boobs.
she's like, "Are we back on that?
Yeah,
yet? It's
yeah.
my favorite topic."
She's like, I'm awake. Okay, sorry. Going back. This is like how conversations work with us in the real life, where it's like we need a roadmap to like just track everything and like maybe flashcards and like note cards and maybe a highlighter. Like, I don't know.
See, I can blame mom brain now,
Yeah.
but like you don't have an excuse, Allie.
It's like, what? It's too early for that to be happening with me. You know what I mean? It's like when my eye started to go and I was like, how is it already bad? I'm 20 years old, you know, and I'm like, I have astigmatism and.
My
I don't
eyes
know.
went in 5th grade, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, I had glasses and braces simultaneously. It was a very sexy moment of my life.
It is surprising how you still managed to be cool in high school. So
I played
a lot of things
sports.
working against you. Christy was like,
played
I was
a lot of
just really nice.
A friend to many.
A friend.
No, I did have contacts shortly thereafter.
You figured it out. You didn't have like the sport goggles when you were playing tennis.
No, that would have been a vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A negative vibe.
I mean, it depends on who you talk to. I
That's
feel like
true.
people can pull it off.
Can we pull it off?
Maybe now you should rock some sports goggles next Storytellers event.
I absolutely will. It'll be really funny. I'm thinking, so Kristy, you know, played multiple sports, you know, she beautiful, blonde, blue-eyed in high school, and then there I was, who was like caretaking or like curating the literary magazine in my middle school.
Full circle,
Full
baby.
circle. And like
Nothing wrong with that.
I was in charge of the like submissions, like who got to be in the magazine. So I was like in it. I was
You're
like the entire
ruthless.
back page.
People were
yeah.
like, oh shit, I better like suck up to Ali.
Yeah. Or just like I just was like cutting out the middleman and just put myself in the magazine a million times.
I actually have a great topic for this. I'm just gonna put myself in.
Yeah. I'm like, mine's better anyway. So anyway. Okay, so circling back.
So your rose, your year one rose, your year one high. What highlight? What sticks out?
Gosh, it's like really hard to think of one highlight from the last year.
I know, my mind just brought like a million to the surface.
Honestly, so there was a moment at the okay, yes, I have one.
Mic drop.
I'm like, yeah, literally. I'm
She's
like,
ready.
It's too bad the mic's attached. So during the storyteller event, the 1 year anniversary that we had with Emerald Coast Theater Company and Jennifer
Such
Steele.
a perfect venue.
Yes,
and
dude.
Jennifer knocked it out of the park.
Like,
Standing ovation.
Standing ovation. She
So
was
good.
and she was telling us how nervous she was beforehand, and I was like, you have the most perfect speech. Like,
I know.
it's a good
and how
thing
she
you went
was
last.
she was
because-
like literally ghosting us. We were like texting with her and like proposed her being our featured storyteller, and it took her like weeks to respond.
Yes.
And she talked about that in her speech, and I was like, so she knew what
I
she
was so mad at
doing.
you.
We're like, hey, just wanted to bump this
Yeah.
to the top of your
Hey, just circling
your text.
back. Like, we're 2 weeks away. What's your answer? Like,
Are you
I'd be
in?
texting Kristy, be like, okay, so where are we at? And Kristy's like, she's not texting me back. Like, I have
I'm like,
no
I'll follow
updates
up.
for you. Yeah.
I'm sure she's in.
Yeah. Anyway, so it was very good to know that we weren't the crazy ones in this situation, or at least we weren't going crazy. We were just acting crazy. But
She knew.
she did. That was intentional.
It was all by design.
But there was one moment, and it was towards the end because the featured storyteller always goes on last. I like to say that they go on about a half hour before the end of the event. So
Sally gives a time slot,
Yes,
and I'm like, add 30 minutes to that because we're never on time.
Kristy's over here like, yeah, it's not, it's not exact. Like it's more of a suggestion than it is
Loosely.
anything else. Yes.
Than an actual guideline.
Yeah, and I'm over here like, no, you've got a timer, so lights are gonna dim after the 5 minutes. But anyway, and it was towards the end. So whether or not it was 30 minutes towards the end, TBD, but towards the end, and Kristy and I were up walking around, just like kind of in the back, just whatever. I don't know what we were doing, fucking around, but
Fixing the live stream.
yeah,
Technical issues.
yeah, that's actually it. And it was when Jennifer Steele was talking, and she was and she is this incredibly accomplished woman.
Oh,
Like,
her bio.
her
reads
bio.
Like it's its own novel.
A Wikipedia page. I was
Seriously.
like, how are you so accomplished? You know what I mean? I was like, stop working, stop being so good at your job. Like, let me
I
catch
plugged
up.
it into the Instagram caption. It was like, this is too long.
Yes.
I was like, okay, let's
You have no more characters.
Yeah.
Yes. I even got up there and introduced her before she got on stage, and I read like the first paragraph, and I was like, you know what? Like, let's just bring her up. Like, I'm not doing this.
That
Yes.
was perfect. I remember that because I was like thinking, I was like, damn,
She
is Ali
gonna do the
is
whole-
Ali gonna read like the
I was-
12-minute bio?
I had it printed out. Yes. But anyway.
So it was towards the end of the event.
Towards the end of the event, I was standing kind of behind, because Kristy and I were like back towards the bar, which is a little bit of ways from like where everybody was sitting. So it was just sort of Kristy and I just sort of standing there, doing whatever we were doing, watching Jennifer Steele perform her or present her presentation. And Jennifer Steele was talking about, how she's done this and this, and she's, was nervous before, the event and didn't know what she was going to say and, what she even considered a milestone. And there was a moment where this incredibly accomplished woman said that this was a milestone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, cue the tears.
You
Like,
Kleenex
shut up,
down.
Allie. Oh my God. And
That was a very cool moment.
it was just Kristy and I standing in the back, and I'm not gonna cry. And I was like, these are the people in our community that consider our events, our baby, little baby. Oh, they're not babies, but like,
We had over 90 people there.
I know, we did. We really did. But like, they feel like babies to us, and it's, I'll circle
We're
back.
still like making it up as we go.
Yeah, I need to finish the story, but I will circle back to this thought. But like, but it was just two of us standing in the back on this concrete floor, with the lights dimmed, watching this incredibly accomplished woman who is accomplished beyond 30A. It's not just 30A. Tell us that she considered this a career high.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, my God, for a 1-year anniversary, because Kristy and I are in the trenches, right? Like we don't see necessarily any of the like highs that everyone else is experiencing, because
We see it from the other side.
we see it on the, the emails that we have to send out, and the, calls that are not answered, and the, things that get dropped. And so, and I mean, obviously we see a lot of it because we do this as a full-time job. And for us to have made it to a year when we did not expect this at all,
Mm-hmm.
and to have this caliber of woman speak and this large of a crowd, it was like the first moment where I was like, this is a high caliber event that no one else is doing to this degree on 30A.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I feel like
somebody give me some wine.
I feel like for, the featured storytellers too, like whether it's Jennifer Steele, whether it's Meredith Wild, Mike Ragsdale, like there's so many storytellers that we've had that, obviously this whole thing started like tell your story, tell lots of stories, consider this your stage.
Mm-hmm.
And for people to take, like, obviously, like you said, the theme for our July storytellers was milestones, and for people to like take the stage and look back on their career. And I think honestly, like that in and of itself is a gift, because you're it probably was like, oh yeah, I have a bio, but like actually reflecting on each of those parts. And so I wonder if so much of that moment for her came from like, wow, this gave me this permission slip to like go through my life and see what's, the zigzag points of what's led me here. Like, I wonder how much of that was in play. But I still remember that moment, because it was like, it was the first time all night that Ali and I were probably like together, not like running around scrambling and, dotting the I's and crossing the T's. But we had this moment where we were like watching it from behind everybody. So behind the crowd, and like Jennifer's this like little dot, on the stage. And it was this moment for us where we could like take it all in. And that was a very cool.
Felt very surreal.
Good Rose. Good Rose, Al.
We got there in the end, didn't we?
Yeah, that was very, very cool.
Yeah, I specifically remember that moment because like a lot of them are like, I mean, everything is good. Everything is a high, especially when we pull off an event well. But it was like time slowed a little bit. And I was like, this is happening.
Yeah.
So shout out to Jennifer.
Yeah, shout out. And while Allie's eyes were leaking, I was leaking in other parts.
Kristy was like, can I leave? Like, do you need me for anything else?
I had so many exit strategies that night, because I was like, all right, baby's at home with the husband and in-laws. Like, my boobs are about to explode. But I ended up lasting like the entire time.
No, you did a great job.
I did leak through my dress.
Sorry,
other
X
than
photo.
that. It was the slip. It was the slip. I had layers just in case. Oh, but yeah, that was
the glamorous side of Emerald Coast Storytellers. Everybody's always like, what's it like? We're like, what's it like working with you and Kristy? And I'm like, well, like, it's a lot like it's just that. Like,
Could you imagine if I posted that picture of my slip dress?
just on May and not even on close friends.
Harrison, I
like,
walk
what?
in and he's like feeding her the bottle, and I'm
Yeah.
like, wait.
You're like, I need to get these. Have you seen the movie Neighbors with Seth Rogen?
Yes, it was.
There's
very
that
similar
one
to that.
scene, yeah, where they were like out drinking, and then it's like Rose Byrne or whatever her name is,
Yep.
Who's hilarious, and I don't know why
Look
I'm
at
pitching her
Allie's.
right now.
Allie's like the movie quoting. Things have turned.
You haven't done one of those in a while. Okay,
Well,
for
I had one
context.
earlier. It was very subtle. You didn't notice.
Okay, well, was it when Dave was here or no?
No.
It was just me.
Yeah.
Okay, that went right over my head. So Kristy does this thing where it's just she just quotes movies all the time, and
like
I
the most
know
obscure lines.
I
I'm like, why
normally
did I even say that?
I normally know she's quoting a movie because she's like looking at me like I'm supposed to laugh, but I'm like, I have no idea. I'm just like,
I think
I
I've
was like,
given
what
up on like,
movie?
will she figure it out?
and it's always Friends quotes, and
Yeah.
I haven't seen Friends. And
90%.
yes, I know. I
Oh,
need to watch
gosh, yeah,
Friends.
that was going to
and
be like a big experiment. All right.
for me to watch Friends and
Yeah.
recognize quote lines.
just
we have to do that.
experience the magic.
Next rainy day,
Night.
we'll write. And that's in air quotes.
Yes.
Really, we'll just watch Friends.
I did start writing my birth story. That's the extent of the writing I've done in the past few weeks.
Oh yeah, I haven't done any. I mean, I've done. I guess that's the
Last writing
thorn.
night, didn't you
Last
write?
writing night. Which was a month ago.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's
Well, the next one's this week, so
it is. It's
stay tuned.
2 days from now. It's on the 20th,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
it'll be after this gets released, but
Oh yeah.
or well, before this gets
yeah.
released.
I'm like
but
RSVP. Too late.
each month.
Yeah.
That's been fun
Lovely.
is the virtual component.
Yeah.
Because now that I have a baby that's, going to start crying any moment.
Any
Any moment ever. I was like, all right, Ali, how about I lead the virtual component? So
What
I'm
if I was like,
on the
I want to
Wix.
do virtual?
I mean,
No.
we'd probably take it all virtual.
We
do
could.
it.
We could do
But
that.
honestly, so many people, I
Yeah.
think that maybe it's like coming off quarantine, like, or just like writers in general just have, it's so solitary. I think it's finally this excuse to like, let me go out and be social with other writers. And I think there's been so many, like the feedback was like, oh, that's cool, virtual component, but like, I'd love to come in person. So it's been
Yeah.
cool to see.
No, yeah. And I did notice that we have the highest amount of people who have RSVP'd for an event
Woo.
on this particular writing night, and I don't recognize most of the names.
There you go.
You better show up.
We'll find you.
I will email you.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
Oh wait, I'm
My
on Bud.
rose.
Oh,
Oh, do
yeah.
you want to go? Do we switch?
No, we should
Either
go back
way.
and forth.
Okay,
No,
okay.
yeah, my ADHD will never let me.
Gosh, that was such a cool. That was a good moment. Like I'm like, how do I follow that up?
Well, we've got good moments.
Oh yeah. Let's see. But to name one, like that's
I
so
know.
hard.
I want to know what your rose is. Like, what is your when time slowed down for you in this journey? I'm actually curious.
That's a great way to put it.
Let me inside your brain.
I keep coming back to the story pairing dinners. And I think if we're talking about the time or like those moments where time slows down, we had such a pipe dream to like, well, not only start the story pairing dinners, but to take storytellers on the road. And for whatever reason, Nashville just stood out as this like, oh, we need to go there. Like it's this creative space and yeah, it's the city of music, but like, where else does that creativity kind of blossom? And so we partnered up with our friend Anu Abuvala of Olive and Be Creative. And one of her clients is this chef up there in Nashville, Chef Johnny Hafner. And he hosts these dinner series actually at his personal residence. Beautiful house.
Yeah.
And he does a lot on the back porch, which, I mean, Ali and I always talk about how much we love the rain. Like, it's just I don't know whether it's the writer in us, like it's just this moment where time slows down. But there was a moment, it like started raining and it wasn't like that. I hate to call it ugly rain because I even love the quote unquote ugly rain, but it was just like barely drizzling. And we had like the whole table set. And there were a few moments, like first the rain started where like no one was there, and it was just this like beautifully set table with like colored napkins, and the candles were lit, name tags, the storyteller menu, and then having that moment again where like the table was filled and we had like 30 like people. It was a very intimate group, which was like exactly what we had envisioned. And yeah, that was probably my moment. And just seeing like, you know, an idea as obscure as like, yeah, let's, you know, wine pairing dinners are like all the rage. Let's pair food with stories.
Yeah,
you
like
know?
what are we like? Who do we think we are?
We're like, yeah, wine will be there too, obviously. But yeah, but that was I would say that was my moment. And shout out to that. It sounds so weird, but asparagus bisque, wasn't that what it was?
Mm-hmm. I still think about that dinner.
Dirty dreams about that dinner.
The chips.
The chips. He has homemade potato chips with this like seasoning. And I love that he pairs it with old fashions. Like I was pregnant then, so I couldn't indulge. I think I had a few sips of red that night. I was like, oh, I'm far enough along.
You're like, she's good. She's cooked.
She's cooked.
Yeah.
She's just fattening up.
Yeah. She's just waiting for her turn.
But yes, I would say that would be my rose. And that was just
a good one.
That was such a cool night. Ali and I like even it was worth every time I'm driving now. It was
so
it
funny.
was like I got a new car after 12 years, and like halfway through the drive up to Nashville, there was a car in front of us that like, I don't know, hit this rock that like shot up at my windshield. And thankfully it's like very low. Like it's just this little X marks the spot.
Picture this.
But the McDonald's
Kristy
breakfast made up for it.
7 months pregnant. I made her drive. I didn't make her drive. But she did. She drove the 6 hours to Nashville in her brand new car. And I'm like picking out the music. I'm like playing like games on my phone. I'm just kidding. We were working.
You were like, I was the secretary, or like it was just like, we were like emailing and like, oh, we should do this. Yeah. And by we, I'm like, let's talk it through. And then, and then you were doing it. But that was very appreciated.
Yeah. No, we were working.
The McMuffins and McGriddles made up for it.
It was good. It was funny because like I was like, you know, I can drive. Like you don't have to drive. Like you can lay down in the back. It's okay. And Kristy drove the entire time. And it was either that or Allie's Prius that like probably would have broken down midway there. Brake lines are failing, and I'm like, we can take my car, and you're like, we're not taking your car. But we'll hang on to that thing. It'll. At our end of days, at the end of the world, it'll be cockroaches, Twinkies, and then my Prius. Oh, God. They're still there.
Cockroaches and Twinkies is like such an image.
And then the Prius.
And now a message from our sponsor. We're excited to announce that Emerald Coast Storytellers is now a program partner of the Cultural Arts Alliance of Walton County. The CAA fosters the inclusive and collaborative advancement of the arts through advocacy, funding, and education, and exposes residents and visitors to diverse forms of art and creative experiences through world-class programming and events. Discover more at culturalartsalliance.com. And now, back to our show.
Well, yeah, Bud.
Wait, but that's a good one. That's a really good rose.
Thanks. That was, yeah.
Let's go somewhere else. Where does Svea want to go?
Well, it currently takes her like 2 hours to leave the house. So maybe we'll wait till she's a little older. Even to get here, I'm like, all right, we're about to leave. And then she like starts like, you know, losing her shit for food, don't we all? But
yeah, that's true.
I just need to like, I even like set my alarm an hour early. I was like, all right, I'll start getting ready now. And by like getting ready, I'm like getting her ready.
Yeah. And Svea's like, you thought.
And then it's always like right as we're leaving, she's like, I need more.
Yeah. She's like, no.
And the dog's staring at me like, you haven't taken me out in 4 hours. I'm like, okay, let's like strap her on.
Yeah. No, I can't even imagine. Maybe if I got another cat, the equivalent, but
But a cat that you had to like take with you everywhere you go.
Could you imagine? Oh my gosh, just picture it. You
Yeah.
have Svea on the front in her little,
And you have like all 5
Bourgeois.
cats around you.
And I also have a cat on the front. That's probably a sign of mental illness.
Like, I can come, but can my cat also come?
You're like, no. You're like, actually, neither of you can go.
Actually, kind of a tight list.
Yeah, you're like, sorry.
We're cooing.
Oh.
Well,
She's like, there's a party out there.
Rose or thorn? I'll let you choose.
I mean, I guess my only thorn would be that we're just busy and that I don't have a bestseller yet. But like,
damn it.
I know. I'm like, I really thought I'd be a lot further along. But like, that's just sort of the typical thorn, I feel, of every writer,
Yeah, it's like, oh wow, why isn't this done yet?
Yeah, of course.
Life gets in the way. I don't know. It was the March Storytellers, Hot Mess Express. Well, Hot Mess was the theme. We just kept calling it Hot Mess Express.
That was a good one.
But I remember I actually read an excerpt from the novel that I had like newly edited. It was a scene that I probably, well, actually no, it was fairly new.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember like before I read it, I was talking about how, there's so many moments in like a writer's career where, especially like when you have a goal to finish something, and then like years later you're like, oh no, I'm like still working on
You're
that
like, how
same
is
thing.
this possible?
Yeah. But I don't know, like the more that I think about it, like, because if I had finished it, like I finished the draft in like 2019, and if I had published it then and there,
mm-hmm.
it would have been a completely different book. It also would have sucked a lot of it. But I was like thinking about it. I was like, there's a reason why this is taking so long, because the life experience that I've had since has just been like leaps and bounds compared to where I was then. And whether it's writing or whether it's just life in general, like, and what I can fuse back into this book draft, we'll see. Like I think that's like gonna make it a million times better than it could have been. So I don't know, maybe that's just optimistic me being like, this is why.
This is my year. Yes.
But yeah, I'm just, trying to practice grace and like, I don't know, like I always think about like, yeah, I could have finished the book if I had cut out so much of life. Like if I had said no to like all these plans that ended up being lifelong memories. And sometimes there are plans that like I'm like, oh, I should have said no to this.
You mean all the Trinco nights?
I'm like, oh, okay, I have like a headache. And
you mean going to AJ's for the millionth time was not a life experience?
Oh yeah, I think I started boycotting AJ's pretty early on. I was like,
oh,
if I'm drunk enough to go to AJ's, I should just go to bed. Like
she had Svea so she could avoid AJ's.
I started referring to my couch as AJ's, like, oh yeah, I'm going to AJ's, I'll see you there.
You're one of those people where it's like everybody's a little tipsy, everybody's like, hyped up for the next bar, and you're like, I will meet you there.
See you there.
Yeah.
See you never.
And you never show up.
See you tomorrow, where I'll feel a million times better than you will.
See you at brunch tomorrow.
Oh, so good. All right.
I mean, to think about it.
Oh, yeah.
If you had published that book, we probably would not have started our writers group because it would have been different.
Maybe. I think it would really depend on the trajectory of like where that went. Because like I said, it's nowhere near what it's becoming.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely.
But I met you because you put the first chapter of your novel on your Instagram.
And that's the chapter that I've edited like 12 million times. So I'm like, well, this one feels ready. You're like, as for the rest.
Putting this back on Wattpad.
I know, I had great plans for that. I was like, oh, this will hold me accountable. Like every new chapter I'm going to publish here until I hit this point where I'm like, okay, you'll have to buy it to read the rest. And I think I like posted 2 chapters, maybe one.
Maybe we'd have to go back and
I
check.
have to go back. I haven't looked at that in so long, but yeah, again, there's a reason. There's
Yeah.
a reason, damn it.
I mean,
Yeah. But
yeah.
that probably leads to my thorn is just like the non-writing
Mhm.
part. But like we say that every time.
You know what? You know what I would love? Like, picture
What would
it.
you love? Tell me how. The lead into that.
More
I was like,
wine. I'm just kidding.
Here we
It's
go.
so annoying. Please, somebody sponsor us. Sponsor wine company. Salty beverages. She's actually pouring me something right now. It's great.
You had to get the sound effect.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thanks. Yeah, just top me off. Anyway. And
you know what you would love?
just like us 5 years from now with more time
Best-selling.
and just time to write, like the two of us.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be really great. Yeah. I mean, it's like when I first moved to the beach, it was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have all the time in the world. And then it kind of like that quote unquote real job syndrome sets in. And I'm like, well, I gotta like, how am I gonna supplement this? And then obviously because it's human, that's like just the name of the game. But then it was like, it fell to the back burner because of that. And then there's always gonna be a reason to write, but you're gonna find more reasons not to write because it's just easier and harder all at the same time. But
yeah. I know, but like, just like a little, like, I feel like every writer has this dream where it's like them just like in a little shack by the sea and all they do is just write.
Oh yeah.
Like, that's so funny because it's like Kristy and I started off with like that. We were like, we're gonna get together and write. But like, you know, because we're both type A, we were like, what if we can make a business out of this?
Let's take this to the next level.
Yeah. How can we level up?
Level up and not write.
Yeah. And it's just, you know, we procrastinated so well that we've started a fairly successful organization. So
I will say, like, it has forced us to write too in other ways. Like, we are flexing the muscle with each new theme, and that's actually what's been your favorite theme of the past year? Like, where you can say your top 3 if you want, or top 2.
Okay, I'll do top 2. Because we didn't start doing themes until like October, I think.
Yeah.
Which was horror.
Oh wait, so July, August, September. So 3 months, it was just Wild Wild West.
Yeah, we were just like, please just come.
Yeah.
We don't care what you write.
Half off drinks.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, I think it's so funny. I was telling Kristy this earlier, but we still get like reminders from Instagram, like, this is what you were doing a year ago. And like around our 1-year anniversary, we were, you know, essentially asking people to come to our event.
Yeah, we're like,
we were
what do you
convincing
wanna
people.
See? We're like, we have this idea. Is it stupid?
Yeah,
Come
literally.
and find out.
We like did a poll. We were like, who would be interested in this? Like, yeah.
Oh, I know that was.
so
I
weird.
think the story. I got like a memory on Instagram that was like, it was a poll about, what do you want to see? We have this idea, and
Would you guys
here's
be
what
open
we're
to
thinking.
it?
Like, yeah, let us know your feedback. I don't remember any feedback
Yeah,
other than like, do it.
Yeah. Like Cindy and, you know, all of our
loved
people
ones
in our
that
corner,
just support
all
us
the
no matter
family,
what.
yeah, family members were like, this sounds like a great idea, hon.
You're doing great, sweetie.
Yes. Okay, themes.
So October.
Yeah.
Oh, well, obviously one of yours is horror.
Yeah, I mean,
says
I
the
freaking
horror
love
writer.
Yeah.
Which we'll bring back this October, so that'll be
Yeah,
be
that's
cool.
gonna be really cool. We're probably gonna do it with hibiscus again.
yeah.
And then I think we were going to also do maybe some sort of thing with Justin Gaffrey Gallery, like a writing night or something, like amidst all of the paintings.
Oh yeah,
like
that's October.
candlelight. Yeah,
Cool.
let's do it. Let's put it on the calendar.
Cool.
RSVP.
Horror. So Allie's like, oh, this theme. Like, let me just pull from my
I was like, I
archive.
already write horror, so let me just write horror for this event too.
That was a good lesson for me because
Yeah.
I've written suspense in the past.
What did you write?
Mine was the ghost writer. I kind of went with like
That
that
was good.
associative
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like freaked myself out a little bit
That's a
writing
good
it.
one.
I think I tried to like write it at night too, and I was like, oh, this is spooky.
You're like, why did I do this?
It was like the ghost writer, so he starts writing and then it starts writing back, and it's like becomes this animate object.
That's why I love horror.
Yeah,
'Cause you
and
can
I
do
think everything
anything
goes
with
black in the end. I had to like pull that trope out. I was like, I had to.
You're
I had
like,
to
the
do it.
ending is whatever you make it. Because we have
I remember
1,000 words.
Yeah. I remember I said it to my grandpa, who's a fellow writer. More like he writes kind of like memoir stuff, but he's like, I liked it, but there was a lot of F words. And I was like, that felt very horror to me. I don't know. I was like, oh yeah, I probably should have taken those out and then sent it to you, but
You're like, maybe this isn't the target audience, but like,
Yeah.
what did you think?
Yeah. Let me forget this one. I'm gonna send you another copy.
Okay, now you go.
That was a good one.
Okay, so horror was good. What is you?
Ooh,
I know, right?
gosh. They were all so good. I would say, in terms of what a theme brought out in my own writing, like I would say gratitude
That was a good one.
was one of my favorites, because I kind
Yeah.
of did the horror thing. I like started with the theme, and then I came up with this like, all of a sudden I just had like, I was like, okay, gratitude, Thanksgiving. What's my favorite Thanksgiving dish? Mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
And then it kind of became this like potatoes, gratitude. And I was like really proud of the pun.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started writing, and it was the first time that I wrote fiction that wasn't for the book, that just poured out. Like
Yeah.
it was just a really cool moment from like the writer in me. I still want to like, I don't know, I still want to like try and submit that somewhere and see if it gets any
You should.
traction. But I was like really proud of that one. So yeah, I would say gratitude. But in terms of like thinking outside of the box, like origin stories was just really cool to see. Like
Fawnville was
what
great.
people, that was so
Fawnville, right?
Fawnville, yeah,
Yeah,
with
that was a good one.
Cucurell.
Yeah.
That was, I think, just the stories that generated in all of the readers as a whole. I would say that one was one of my favorites.
That was, and also like that was a really good crowd too. The Fawnville one.
Yeah.
Like that was, and it's funny because we
Just
had
a vibe
fought
already.
really hard for Fawnville to be a venue, just because they're just slammed and
They were down. It was
Yeah.
just like pinning, because they're like brand new. So
Yeah,
I think that was like, it sounds great, but like, holy shit, let's start crazy ass schedule. Like, it was just kind of the name.
100%.
Yeah. But that was really cool.
No, but it was a really good crowd and like really good food and
Oh my
just-
gosh, those charcuterie
Yeah.
plates
yes,
and like the hummus. Oh, did they have the whip feta that night?
they did have the whipped feta.
It's, gosh, for the listeners.
Sponsored by Whipped Feta. That is at Fawnville and also at Citizen.
Oh, so good.
I know.
Love me
My
some
God.
whip feta.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a vibe.
No, that was a really good. Also, Gratitude was another really, because that was at Bar Room.
Yeah.
With
Black
Dwight.
Bear, yeah.
Yeah.
That
That
was
was also
awesome.
really, that was kind of the first one that was like, had that kind of like, comedy show, not comedy show, but like,
It was like very bistro.
Yeah.
Like, the table set up. Like it was, and then everyone was like ordering. There was like a waitress going around, and
yeah.
like same thing, charcuterie boards and wine and like burgers. Like it was just like a very like kind
Yeah.
of dinner and a show.
Yeah.
And then having Dwight on the podcast and like asking him more questions about, because obviously he focused on Lazarus.
Yeah. Raising
Lazarus, and then being able to like pick his brain about some of the other things that he co-wrote, and like that was just so cool.
Yeah.
That
Just
was
goes
a
to
lot
show.
of full circle moments
Yeah.
this past year.
Yeah. Yes. Very much like kind of discovering just how many talented people are down here and how receptive they are to something like this.
Yeah,
It's just a lot of like, it feels like the universe is conspiring in our favor.
seriously. Like I still remember that first, we had like the second event, I want to say, where
Yeah.
Dave King from Sewell House came, and where now we record our podcast.
Yeah.
Full circle.
Yeah.
But he had us on our podcast, and we, he's like, okay, you guys are 2-3 months in, like you've got like a bestseller and you've got this and like, you know, it's picking up speed and all this stuff. And I remember like on the podcast talking about there's been all these like doors that have opened and windows that have opened. And it's just like the runway, just like all these lights going off and showing us the path. And, you know, while we say we're like making it up as we go, which is very true, it's been a lot of like moments that have just felt very serendipitous and synchronous.
Truly.
And
Yeah.
we're like, we'd be idiots not to keep going along
There
the path.
have been a couple moments, and I know it's for both of us, but I'm just going to talk about specifically career stuff with me where I was like, this can happen one of two ways. Like it was basically just like a fork in the road where I was like, if I am meant to be doing this, then this will be
It'll
viable,
happen.
essentially.
Yeah.
Like, you know, or like if I can continue doing this, then like this won't happen. And then it doesn't. So I'm like, all right, let's keep going, you know? So it's just like, I don't know. I don't know what it means.
What next?
You tell me what that means.
That is a good lead into Bud, because
Oh, there you go.
year 1 is in the bag officially. What are you most excited for year 2 and beyond?
Just another year of hanging out with Kristy.
I come with baggage.
You do.
Shout out Svea.
Yeah. And she has baggage.
She hasn't started crying yet, though. I was
No.
literally telling Allie, I'm like, there's going to be a moment where she starts like crying, maybe screaming, and I'm just going to have her like on the boob as
Just attached.
as we're talking about this. Like, don't mind her. We're just having a conversation.
You're like, it was inevitable. You're just lucky it's not having it an open mic. But anyway, I promise I'm not slurring because of the wine. I'm just excited. But for me, so Kristy and I, for the last 6 months, 7 months, have been working on a project that is beyond hosting an event. So we love the events. I would say we are definitely at this moment events based, you know, whether it's like the writing nights or the open mic nights or story pairing. But within our, Google Drive, there's a Google Doc entitled Brainstorm that has a whole lot of ideas that are, definitely within the 5 to 10 year plan. But if I have anything to do with it, it'll be 2-year plan.
I know. I'm
Just kidding.
Allie, let's put this one off. There's only 2 of us.
I will tell the story after, but there is a funny story where I was like, I would have done this in the next 6 months. And you were like, that's a terrible idea. But there's a couple of things that we have in the works. I will talk about one, then I'll let Kristy talk about the other. But one of the things that we are debuting is our membership program.
Woo.
And that is the first attempt at us expanding the storytellers universe. So trying to provide something that anybody can enjoy, and it is not necessarily going to one of our events. We're trying to bring in and, showcase and enrich all of the organizations that have worked with us in the past. So that's Black Bear Bread Company, that's X Photo, that's, Emerald Coast Magazine. And then, of course, we have early bird ticket access, discounts. We're going to have a merch line at some point, which I am personally excited about.
Ooh, yeah.
I intend on just being branded out all the time.
Yeah. It's like the only thing in our closet.
I know. We hate getting dressed anyway. So it's like, it's an outfit already picked out for us. But, and it was very cool to see. I mean, we've already sold, a plant. I'm like, shh. Just kidding. I love you.
The baby's interrupting.
Yeah. I'm like, this is a moment, Saya.
Oh, but her eyes are closed.
No,
We're good.
she's passed out.
She's a loud sleeper. She's like, we get it.
I know. I'm
You're
like,
here.
I know. And she's like, I am the star of the show. But anyway, anyway, it was talk about a surreal moment. It was like something that we had talked about wanting to do, from the very beginning, and then to build it and then execute it and have people already buying it is.
And seeing how that will evolve is going to be really cool. Because I think right now, that was one thing that took us so long to launch it too, because it was like, well, as more comes in, but we're like, no, that's a good thing. Like we can kind of like launch it as it is, and it'll just get better and better like with time. So
yeah, but it was just the first attempt at us I don't know, doing something that's not events based, and we'll see how it goes. But even if it fails, which it won't, at least we tried.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. Honestly, it can't fail.
Not on my watch.
Not on my watch. Yeah, but as Ali mentioned, the merchandise, we've got our first piece of merchandise out in the world now. It's obviously we had to start with a journal because obviously,
yeah.
I can't even tell you how many journals I have on my bookcase. It's kind of like taking over my books at this point. Not really, but it's getting there.
I'm like, I've seen stacks.
Thanks to Morning Pages. Shout out Julia Cameron.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's got this, I don't know, pretty badass like retro cover.
It's actually really cool.
I think and it's just like everyone needs a journal.
What better thing to start with?
Yeah.
Tell your story and tell lots of stories.
Yeah.
Now you can do it with the Emerald Coast Storytellers Journal.
Wow.
That's a really good slogan. Sponsored by Shark Day.
EmeraldCoastStorytellers.com/shop. Oh,
it's okay. We'll link it. Don't worry.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, as it comes, I mean, you know, mugs, pens, shirts. Hats, baby onesies.
This is about to be crazy niche, but there's an influencer I follow, Tinks. You know Tinks.
Oh, yeah.
She's got that rich mom merch.
Oh,
but it's like the really nice sweatshirts.
Oh,
crew neck. Just manifest.
We love to see it.
There we go. Just storytellers.
Yeah.
Trademark pending.
You got Svea's vote. She's like, meh, meh, meh.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, gosh, I would say to close it out, like looking forward, I think, I don't know, it kind of feels like it's not like we're starting over, but it does feel like this fresh start going into season 2, year 2. I'm like podcast lingo.
I know, right?
Going into year 2, I don't know, it kind of feels like this clean, fresh slate where it's like, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
Wait and find out.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, I think just seeing, again, what doors open and all those things, I'm just really, really excited for.
It's just crazy because it's like, we feel like we've been doing it forever, but like we're now just starting to like pick up.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're now just start seeing some crazy traction.
The days are long, but the year is short.
And with that, good night.
Mic drop.
That's a great place to end.
Did we cover everything?
I don't
Svea,
know.
do you have anything to say?
I have lots of stories, but I don't know if we talked about it or not. I blacked out.
Well, I guess we could finish by just saying all of you listeners and attendees and storytellers and readers and just people from afar that maybe consider yourself a fan. It's weird to think.
Do you like us? Please follow us.
Please like us.
Please like us.
No, but honestly, just thank you guys. We always say we would be nothing without the community. And we definitely, acknowledge and love that this community has officially gone beyond 30A. And for that, we're just so grateful. So thanks for being here.
Like we always say, if it wasn't for the community, it would just be Kristy and I up at the mic talking to each other.
Yeah. Probably not even a mic. We wouldn't need it at that point.
We would just be talking to me. We'd be this.
So like this.
Yeah.
We would just start a podcast.
Yeah. So, yeah. Yep. Oh, full circle. Okay. Okay. Love you guys.
Love you.
All right. Till next time.
Thank you for listening, storytellers. Wherever you are on your journey and whatever brought you here, we encourage you to tell your story. Tell lots of stories. Now get out there and find your stage.
The Emerald Coast Storytellers podcast is produced in partnership with Sowell House, whose mission is to house creative culture by supporting the individuals who shape it.
Follow them on Instagram @Sowell House or visit their website sowellhouse.com to learn more.